So here's an example of media bias. The St. Louis District Attorney, Kim Gardner, has asked the Missouri Supreme Court to restore her authority to prosecute a couple accused of wielding guns at racial injustice protesters last summer. Well, what the McCloskeys did was not wielding guns at protesters. They had gotten their firearms, of which only one is operable. The one Mrs. McCloskey is holding was actually a courtroom prop. It was inoperable. The AR-15 that Mr. McCloskey is holding is the only operating firearm here. So, the reason they went to retrieve their firearms, a fact which really nobody's talking about, is because these protesters had kicked down a 120-year-old gate into the gated community in which the McCloskeys lived. What they thought they were accessing was not a public street, but was a private drive that the McCloskeys and other members of their neighborhood lived in. They were technically trespassing, and according to my understanding of the law, they were breaking and entering. So legally, the McCloskeys were within their rights to retain firearms. I would have. If someone's kicking down my door, I'm going to get a firearm, and I'm going to make use of it if I have to. I feel like any prudent gun owner would procure a firearm for self-defense purposes against people like this, because how were the McCloskeys to know that the people kicking down the gate to their neighborhood, how were they to know that these people were not going to do the very same thing to their front door? They were not wielding guns at racial injustice protesters. They took up arms against those racial injustice protesters because those people were rioting. They were trespassing. They were destroying property. Just another great example of AP News being biased, as always. So here we have an article from January 8th, in which the AP is reporting that Mark McCloskey and his wife pulled guns and waved them around and at protesters. Well, anyone who is familiar with this knows that this is incorrect. These people kicked down a gate, broke down a gate, and accessed a private neighborhood. They were trespassing. They were trespassing. I believe that the McCloskeys had every right to take a stand to ensure their own safety. Here again, we have a great example of the AP putting bias and a political slant into the news.